One of the sad things about my mum and I not living in the same country is that I can't exploit her cooking through internet cloud year-round. It's a tragedy, really. Aww. But hey, I get it for 2 weeks a year, so we make the most of it. This time, I'm making her cook enchiladas. Unfortunately, my mum can't really handle spicy food, so naturally, we're making spicy food. Welcome to My Mum Can't Cook Chicken Enchiladas. To be fair, we are dialing the chili powder down from a fire-breathing 4 tablespoons to just half a tablespoon. I remember the first time I made this, it was for an ex of mine from England. She considered black pepper a form of assault. And yet, I still followed the original recipe and dumped in all 4 tablespoons of chili powder. Let's just say the kitchen smelled aggressive. She didn't need the enchiladas. More for me. Anyway, enough reminiscing about my failed relationships, let's get to cooking. My mum pours a tablespoon of oil into our multi-cooker and waits for it to heat up. While that happens, she seasons both sides of the chicken tenders with salt and pepper. Nothing fancy here, just making sure every piece is evenly coated. I usually cook this with chicken breast, but I think there was a bit of miscommunication when we were making the shopping list, so now we have this. Not really much of an issue though. If you're cooking this at home, use whatever you have on hand. Chicken breast, thighs, tenders, it's all going to get shredded anyway. Once she's done seasoning, we head back to the pot. Then the chicken goes in. She makes sure not to crowd it, giving it about 3 minutes per side until it gets a light golden crust. We aren't trying to cook it all the way through yet, just getting some color. Well, at least that was the idea. As you can see, we have encountered a slight technical difficulty. The chicken is stuck, and on this non-stick pot of all things. The irony is palpable. This is why I'm always gonna keep preaching about hot pans. If the oil isn't hot enough when the chicken goes in, it grabs onto the surface. Then you try to flip it too early and everything just tears. So yes, heat your goddamn pans, people. I'm okay. Back to it. Mum flips the chicken and sets her sides on the veggies. She roughly chops an onion and a few garlic cloves and sets them aside for later. The first batch of mangled chicken comes out and the second goes in. They follow the same procedure as last time, except, plot twist, this time the pot is actually hot enough and we won't have to struggle with things sticking to the bottom. When both sides are done, we're gonna add the first batch back in and pour a cup of water over them. Then the veggies go in, followed by a stock cube. We used vegetable, but honestly anything works, including a tablespoon of vegetable seasoning or even just salt. Sometimes recipes are nothing more than rough guidelines. As long as there's seasoning and liquid, you're fine. You really need to put some effort in to mess up boiled chicken. Mum stirs everything and it simmers gently for 8 to 10 minutes. Just enough time for the chicken to cook through and the onions to soften. While it bubbles away, I have her mix the enchilada spices on a small plate. She adds half a teaspoon of cumin and then it's time for everyone to give their opinions on how much chili powder we should add.
Такава лъжица.
Какъв е този пипер?
Голяма? Той е много лют.
О, аз такова люто не мога да ям, сори. Половинка мога да сложим, ама голяма не. Това означава да го направиш.
То пише 4 по рецепта, между другото.
4 лъжици? Това е ненормално, честно.
Хубаво е, това е.
То дори.
Ти ще му напишеш, следиш, преслагаш малко колкото. Това е даже много, като не ядеш. Няма да ядеш въобще.
Няма да ям, аз ще го правя и после няма да ям.
Spoilers, my mum did eat it at the end and no, it wasn't spicy. Who would have thought? Me. I would have thought. Then she adds the onion powder and oregano. The spice mix is simple, but once it hits hot oil later, it does most of the heavy lifting. If you're following along, take a little break after this. You've earned it. Alright, break's over. Once the chicken has soaked up some of those flavors, it gets shredded using 2 forks. It should pull apart pretty easily at this point, practically falling apart on its own. If it fights you, throw it back in the water for another minute or 2. I call this the mop treatment.
I will have the gabagool.
What?
The gabagool.
I don't really know what that is.
You know, gabagool.
The liquid left in the pot is now chicken stock. We drain it through a mesh sieve and we're left with about a cup of it. It's already picked up flavor from the chicken, onion, garlic and seasoning, so don't throw it away. We top it up with another cup and a half of water to make 2.5 cups total. We're gonna save this and use it to make enchilada sauce later. Making the sauce with this instead of plain water makes a noticeable difference. Next, Mum heats 2 tablespoons of oil in a freshly cleaned pot and sprinkles in the flour, mixing until it turns into a smooth paste. This is your roux. You want it smooth, no dry patches of flour, and you don't want it too dark, just slightly cooked. The spice mix follows and everything gets stirred for a moment so the spices can toast slightly in the oil. You'll smell it immediately. Then she slowly pours in the stock, mixing continuously. And I mean slowly. Make sure not to dump all of your liquid in at once, otherwise the roux at the bottom will clump up and you'll have no way to fix it later. A little bit of stock, stir until smooth, then more stock. Keep going until it's fully incorporated. A garlic clove gets crushed straight into the pot, followed by tomato paste. The sauce thickens slightly as it simmers and turns into that deep reddish color you expect from enchilada sauce. If it looks too thick, you can always add a splash of water. If it looks too thin, just let it simmer a bit longer. And that's it, enchilada sauce done from scratch. To bring it all together, she mixes a bit of the sauce into the shredded chicken just to coat it lightly. You don't want it swimming in sauce at this stage, just enough to keep it moist and flavorful. The cheese gets grated and everything is ready to assemble. Each tortilla gets around 125 grams of chicken and a handful of cheese before being rolled and tucked seam side down into a baking tray. Try not to overfill them or they'll tear when you roll them up, but also don't underfill them. I'm sure you'll figure it out. The rest of the sauce goes over the top and is spread to coat everything evenly. Make sure the edges are covered so the tortillas don't dry out in the oven. We top it with the remaining cheese, generously, and into a preheated oven they go at 180 degrees for 20 minutes. You're looking for melted cheese and slightly golden edges. I usually serve this with rice or sour cream, but my mum says we've used up our calorie allowance on cheese alone, so we skip both, probably for the best. So, how was it? Creamy, cheesy, spicy, sort of, but not enough to cause panic. The sauce has depth, the chickens taste tender and the tortillas hold everything together without falling apart. And most importantly, my mum finished her portion, which means we didn't overdo it. It's a miracle. They are easy to make, but making them from scratch does take time. My advice would be to batch cook. Make a double batch of sauce and the shredded chicken on a Sunday and freeze them. That way, on a busy Wednesday night when you hate the world, all you have to do is defrost, roll and bake. Future you will thank you. In terms of taste, I'd give it a
impressive. Very nice.
Effort-wise, it's a
Bro, I'm straight up not having a good time.
Anyway, if you cook this, I hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you in a bit.